So today is March 22, 2026. The police are forming a gang, attacking me around 12 a.m. to like 2 a.m. I came here to get some food. This guy was selling to me cheap. I think I gave him a quarter. And I was talking to him. As I was talking to him, a woman touched my buttocks. A woman touched my buttocks. I said, that's rape. That's rape. Then the police jumped out of the car. I thought they were eyes were about to arrest me. And they ran towards me like they were about to arrest me. And and they went towards the black American instead. So they've been staging attacks against me, and I've been recording it on Facebook. And now Facebook deleted my they said they're going to delete my videos, that my videos are too controversial. So Facebook is helping them get away with rape and abuse. So please, this is very serious. I'm so sorry. You saw what happened, right? You're busy, it's been appointed. So it happened in front of a store, and as a Nigerian, I was born in America. People don't even pay me no mind, especially as a gay person. I normally wear a mask, so especially when I don't have my mask on, people mistreat me. So the police sees that being an African and being a gay, it's easy to bully me. They took my home in 2010, killed my friend that I was helping with the court papers. My mother's daughter also joined and killed her. My mother started moving with a bad gang. Her daughter's born in Florida, and one in Nigeria called Funken. So they were all moving with a bad gang with like people that do drugs and kill people for money. And they drugged my mother up. Her daughter was poisoned with like counterfeit poison in 2015. And my mother fled Pennsylvania when she went to stay with the daughter probably. Came here to New York, down the street here, somewhere around here, Bellevue Hospital, and she was getting treated for heart disease, and the drugs showed up without my mother telling her where she was. She doesn't know how those drugs find out. They may be working with law enforcement, and they told the hospital to lock her up in the mental. This is how they killed my mother in 2015. So their law enforcement has been trying to drive me crazy. They said this is the best way they can kill you in America, by driving you crazy. So please donate to my Cash App, NYC Homeless. The Facebook has blocked my account. I've been recording videos of people attacking me. A woman came and touched my buttocks. They said the police is engaging in rage bait to get you angry and to get you killed. So they killed my friend Erugana while he was having the court papers, and they want to kill every witness under this Trump. So FIFA is not safe for the World Cup here. And I was recording the video almost 1 hour, and the Facebook deleted that video. Anytime the police attack me, the Facebook would delete that video. It's cheaper for me to record videos on Facebook Live. I was trying to buy a memory card at PC Richard & Son. They have a black American worker there that wouldn't sell me the memory card, chased me out of the store. And some other stores, they were hiding the memory card from like Target store. Now they sell it for $50 or more. They used to sell the memory card for like $20. So this is what is going on. So please donate to my Cash App, NYC Homeless. The NYPD is engaging on the killing spree, whereby they killed my friend Eric Garner that was helping with the court papers as I was suing them in 2013. The ones that killed in 2014, as soon as I came in the court papers. So Eric Garner. So this is what is going on. So please donate to my Cash App. Is this an emergency? I've been getting death threats. I'm going to be killed soon. There's this guy Charlemagne on Breakfast Club. He's always insinuating, talking about my case using innuendos. There was a time during the COVID I was getting attacked, and he said, so this is the Facebook blocking my account. As I was recording how a woman was touching my buttocks, as I was talking to this guy, trying to get food, and then the police jumped out their car, parked their car like this, and jumped out. The police camera here will record it. Anytime I sit here, they always try to attack me, cause they've been sending their criminal gangs to tell me that I'm going to be killed, threaten me I'm going to be killed. And I'm going to share any asset I have among the criminals in America. They're all going to lie that I adopted children. I'm single or married without a child or children. I was born a boy, I'm not a girl. You know, so they said my father's been killed, my mother's been killed, and all I have left is my mother's to kill her daughters. So they believe those daughters will be very helpful in sharing my asset. You know, so they said the police are very corrupt. They said they used to rob people in Harlem. They call them the Dirty 30. They will set up blacks to kill, to rob, arrest them on fake charges, and steal the money from the black people until they first got involved, arrested this police. So now they saw me, I'm in Nigeria, I'm potentially worth money. When my mother brought me here from Nigeria in 2000, with a green card, I was a minor child. They arrested me at JFK, said my mother should have brought me, that a green card didn't cover me. So I've been trying to, my mother had a heart attack while my case was going on, and I finally got my green card in 2008. It took me 8 years. And during that time, my mother's blood pressure was rising higher. And then the police came and took me and my mother's home starting in 2010. As soon as I got my green card, they kicked my mother out. And then my mother's daughters drugged her and killed her because they were hoping to inherit any lawsuit money me and my mother could win from the immigration arresting me as a child, and from the police taking my home and killing my friend and daughter while they were sending me the court papers. So they are corrupt police that killing people for money. They steal money. They don't have you on target. And we can just kill this African and work with the daughters, with the sisters, and share the money. So they're trying to frame me as crazy and kill me. People have been telling me, taser anywhere I go. So they said this is what the police are doing, they're tasering people. So they're rage baiting me, and the camera here will record it. Lolita James, I believe she's been bribed. Trump was trying to get her arrested. She's the black American attorney general. Trump said she bought a house in Virginia and lied that she's married to her father. So I've been contacting Lolita James, the black American attorney general. She has to contact me back. So I believe that a lot of the prosecutors are being bribed, and I've been bribed. I've been contacting them with videos. They don't contact me back. Even the Queen's prosecutor, district attorney, Melinda Katz, I've been contacting her that get attacked in Queens also. The black American that said they're going to beat me up in the bathroom, drag me out of the women's bathroom. And I recorded them threatening me. I sent the video to Melinda Katz last year. She didn't contact me back. Then I started avoiding the Queens bathroom, and I went to Chambers Street Station. They have a bathroom there also for women, and the police came in there on 14 November 2025 and dragged me out of the bathroom and beat me. And then they lied that somebody said I stole a phone. They didn't find no phone. And then they told me they want to put me in the psych ward. I said why? I said because when they were arresting me, I told them not to search my bag. They said I was angry. I said, yeah, that doesn't mean I'm crazy. You provoked me, and I have a right to be angry. I said the law has been changed. You can't just put me in the psych ward. You have to bring a nurse, and the nurse will interview me. I said when I talk with the nurse, I said I used to work as a nursing assistant or med aid. I said the nurse wouldn't jeopardize a nursing license to frame me up as crazy. I said I will explain calmly to the nurse that I'm not crazy, and you guys provoked me. You told me I stole a phone. You didn't find a stolen phone. And then you decided to frame up as crazy. I said, no nurse will arrest me with you to the psych ward based on you provoking me. So they said, okay, we're going to lie that you beat us up. And then they took me to prison. So I beat them up. Even though I had an ID, they could have just... I had a photocopy of my green card. They already stolen my green card. They arrested me in the past, also locked me up in the psych ward. So they're sending me to beat me up, to provoke me, and they will lock me up in the psych ward. A black American said they did this to him, lock him up in the psych ward for 8 years. So that's the best way to disappear you. And I heard they rape people when they're hospitalized in America. There was this lady in Florida during the COVID. Her mother said, she was in coma, and the black American male nurse was raping her, and she's been in coma for 30 years, and the baby fell out of her vagina. And the nurse, was like, your daughter must have come in pregnant 30 years ago, and said sometimes people have stillbirth, and the woman was like, no, the baby is black, the baby is biracial, her daughter is white, and I said her daughter doesn't mess with black male. I said, you never know, some of these women, girls are very, and the mother, the grandmother, white grandmother did a DNA test of the baby with the help of the police, and they found out the black American male nurse that's just been hired was the one that fathered the child and was raping the woman while in coma. So they said, so they're trying to put me in a psychiatric facility where they can take my sperm and then kill me. They say they beat people dead in hospitals here in America, or psychiatric setting, mental homes. In Oklahoma Disability Law Center said in Oklahoma they've been having a report of people in mental homes being beaten up, and when they take the case to court, the jury wouldn't, believe the victim. They said people here in America, don't value crazy people, and they always would believe the attack, the abuser. If the abuser said this person attacked them first and they had to defend themselves, he said Oklahoma Law Disability Center, they said some of the people in the mental homes, the workers in the mental homes are leaving these people with broken skulls, slam their head on the wall, beat them, and when they take the case to court, the court will dismiss the case because the jury will claim, the jury will side with the workers. They say in America people don't like mentally ill people. They believe they're dangerous, and and they have no right. So this is why they're trying to frame up as crazy, so they can lock me in a psychiatric setting and rape me, take my sperm, and give it to women to give birth. And they believe my mother's daughters are compromised enough because they killed my mother. And I've been under FBI surveillance since my mother brought me in 2000. So my mother was telling me everything I do as well. Put her in the backseat of the car, Flora, and went and hit somebody's house, hoping my mother would die of a heart attack. So they can hurt her. My mother said that Flora did it on purpose, and that Bolale also, my mother said, was poisoning her. So and the FBI was listening to everything my mother was telling me. It's once the immigration arrests you, as soon as I got here to America, the immigration arrested me, and for the next 25 years now, they've been listening to me, tapping my phone, listening to everything I say. And the FBI working for the immigration, they never arrested my mother's daughters. So in case that happens to me, my FBI surveillance tapes have to be subpoenaed by the court, and you listen to my mother saying her daughters were about to kill her, they were drugging her. Even one of the daughters was married to a black American citizen. My mother said he hit her with a dirty plunger, left the bathroom blocked. So my mother moved to the bathroom, and he tried to punch my mother, hit my mother with a dirty plunger. And when the police came, the police kicked my mother out. Because my mother speaks with an African accent, her daughters were born and speak with an American accent, they live in Pennsylvania. And the daughter's husband, Yinde Cheney, Flora's husband, he was a black American, speaks with an American accent. So there's a lot of discrimination against us Africans. FIFA is not safe here. They're abusing us Africans. An African is downstairs here, so they don't want me in this neighborhood. But there's an African I used to talk with here. And as soon as I started talking with him some years ago, he said they came and stole his green card and passport. The police have also stolen my green card and passport. And especially because I always get food from these Arabs, so they told me they're going to kill me. The police, they have a killer unit. They've killed my friend Rigada. They said they used to rob black Americans in Harlem, set them up, arrest them, and steal their money. So their police now found I'm a Nigerian. I'm trying to sue immigration because they arrested me wrongfully. So they said they're going to kill me and steal the money. So as I was getting food from this guy, their police sent a woman to slap my buttocks. And I was screaming, that's rape. You lady, you're a rapist. And as soon as I was saying that, the police parked their car and ran towards me. I was scared to bone. The camera was recording it. And it looked like they were about to arrest me. And they walked to a black American. So their police are using rage-based methods. I'm worth a lot of money because when my mother brought me here from Nigeria with a green card, the immigration arrested me wrongfully in 2000, and the case lasted 8 years, and my mother had a heart attack. She's now dead. So, and also the NYPD after.
You gotta do this right here?
Yeah. All right. So they're sending black Americans to be jumping me, as you can see. They say they're going to kill me, taser me dead. Anywhere I go, the black Americans will surround me, tell me, get out of here. Get out of here, nigga. I'll shoot you, nigga. Nigga, I'll shoot you, nigga. So this was happening. So as soon as the police, FIFA is not safe, cancel this World Cup. So some black American guys, they're going to be killing Africans. So we're not welcome, and under this Trump, and when they attack me, they'll be saying exactly. So they're surrounding me with black Americans. A lot of them are undercover agents for the police. Some of them are working with street gangs also. So anywhere I'm at, so FIFA cancel this World Cup. There's a black American guy that told me they're going to be killing Africans. Saying, so please, and they're going to be robbing us. There's a black American also that was rapping us, saying, life is a bitch. He always steals green card from foreigners. I'm sure those foreigners were Africans. And it's not worth $500 million. The police were arrested him. If he had sang a song saying he rapes white women, he would be in prison, like P. Diddy, like R. Kelly. So we Africans, my father used to live here in the 1970s, and he said they stole his Puerto Rican friend, was pretending to be his friend, and when my father goes to school, one day the Puerto Rican asked my father what time he's going to come to home from school. My father was living in the Bronx, and he was going to school in Long Island University, Brooklyn. And and one day my father went to school. The Puerto Rican guy broke into my father's house, stole my father's double-decker cassette player, Sony, stole my father's clothing, and my father caught him with some of the stuff and called the police. The police didn't arrest this Puerto Rican. The Puerto Rican put a knife on my father. My father fled America after that, in the 80s, and never came back. He's now dead. So this is what is going on. Me also, anytime a black American punches me, beat me, the police will arrest them. The police arrested me, stole my green card. So the police are making in July 20, 2019. They stole my green card, stole my passport, and locked me up in the mental ward. So the police, they call them the dirty cops. They started doing that in Harlem, arresting black Americans, stealing their money or false charges. And the feds got involved and locked up those police in the 1990s. They called the name of the Operation Dirty 30. But now that the killer police are back with a vengeance, there was a black American helping with my compass, they choked him dead, and his family alleged, or some people alleged, they stole his money, every Ghana. And since then, the police have been arresting me, stealing my money, stealing my green card. My mother got me a green card in 2008, the police have arrested me, stolen it. I heard, when I was in immigration prison, I heard a U.S. green card like that, if you sell that boy, you pay almost $100,000 for it. They stole my passport, stole my money. So this one is going on, see? And she'll be there around me, I can't stand nowhere. So the police have been attacking me. I can't speak. So they're hiring black Americans to jump us Africans. FIFA cancel this World Cup, investigate what is happening. There's a black American killer gang. They're saying they're going to be killing Africans. And I was posting about it as that woman that touched me, was raping me, touching my anus, and the police jump out of the car and they were about to beat me up and shoot me dead. And people are telling me you're going to be tasered soon, tasered dead. In the bathroom, so don't use the bathroom, they're going to come and jump and kill in the bathroom. So please, FIFA, cancel this World Cup. It's not safe. I'm a living witness. They've killed my mother. When I was criticizing this Trump also, they said somebody overdosed my father with an injection in Nigeria. This Trump is also going to other countries, invade other countries, So when I was criticizing him in 2019, all of a sudden a woman told me, say, go back home. So you need to go back home. Stop being homeless in America. And all of a sudden, I heard my father was killed, and he left me his house. So you have a house somewhere. Go to that. I was like, I have a house somewhere. What is she talking about? She was a Polish woman. Within weeks, I heard they overdosed my father with an injection. I never used to talk to my father because he used to beat me up in Nigeria. So for all the time I've been here, for the 19 years, I came in 2000, and they killed him in 2019. I never talked to my father until they told me he left me a house. I'm like, how would that Polish woman know that I have a house, that my father had built me a house before? Because my father was still alive then. And as soon as that Polish woman told me, go back to where you came from, you have a house, stop being a bomb in America. They told me somebody overdosed my father with an injection and he died in Nigeria. And before I used to go to a Nigerian church, his name is Pastor Ike. And he works for the NYPD, he's with the police department. I was suing them. They just killed my friend in Ghana. And this pastor actually told me, reconcile with your father. The Holy Spirit says you should reconcile with your father. Otherwise, if you don't do it quickly, it's going to be too late. So I believe this NYPD, I was suing them. They made up their mind to, because I was under IPR surveillance, they found out my father was getting injection in Nigeria, and they made up their mind to use their CIA to go kill him. Also, that pastor, I think it's returning. The Holy Spirit is telling him, I believe is some of his NYPD friends, because he's their lawyer, that is telling him, snitching. And he also told me, tell your mother to leave Pennsylvania. He said, your mother's going to die of a heart attack, that she has to leave Pennsylvania. So I told my mother that this pastor is from Nigeria. He said he used to be part of a cult in Nigeria, a Banje or something like that. While he was in university, they said they kill people. He said he's called, allegedly, that's what they alleged in his book. He wrote a book about it. And he said, I said, he said it's not to turn his life around. I said he's been seeing visions. He said I should be concerned with my father. I said also that you have to leave Pennsylvania, that you're going to die of a heart attack if you remain in Pennsylvania. He says a witch is going to kill you. That witch is sending witchcraft spell. My mother says it's no witch. My mother says her daughter. My mother said her daughter has been feeding her like counterfeit poison in the food. My mother said she didn't want to tell me about it. She said anytime that daughter blindly gives her food, say my mother's heart will start shock. My mother's heart will start shock. My mother said that daughter's feeding her. My mother said, it's not a witch. It's that daughter blindly. My mother said she didn't want to tell me about it. So I told my mother that pastor said, come to his church, so you're going to die if you stay in that Pennsylvania. My mother said she doesn't trust him. He said anybody that can admit that they're part of a killer gang in Nigeria and part of a satanic cult, my mother said it's hard to go from killing people to being a good person. So my mother said she's not coming to his church. Soon after that, my mother fled out Pennsylvania. She said that daughter feed that poison again, and she got on a Greyhound bus. My mother said, while she was on the Greyhound bus fleeing in May 13, 2015, they told the Greyhound bus to pull to the side from Pennsylvania. So her heart was her heart was beating that fast, about to shock that. I thought it was poison her. The Greyhound bus put to the side, coming all the way from Pennsylvania, and they called the ambulance. So my mother started eating aspirin. But my mother was afraid that they may take her back to Pennsylvania, where that daughter is, and that daughter may come to the hospital, and because that daughter has been living in Pennsylvania for a long time, and she knows a lot of people, and she would just declare my mother crazy, because there was this incident whereby, this is a long story. When I came out of immigration prison, my mother was tired of taking care of me, because for 8 years after I came out of immigration prison, my case was still going on in court. I couldn't work, go to school. I didn't have immigration papers. So my mother was tired of taking care of me. So I told her to call the police to lock me up in a mental ward. Say I was lazy and I was crazy. I don't like to go to work or school. So my mother would always call the police to lock me up in a mental ward. And when we got to the hospital, I would tell the doctors that, look, my mother and the daughters are the one lying on me. I'm not crazy. I just don't have work papers. So the hospital told my mother to stop calling the police to lie on me because I don't have papers, and stop feeling I was crazy. So so that hospital's name is St. Vincent Hospital. So my mother stopped doing that. Then one day my mother started having high blood pressure, and she told me her body was feeling paralyzed. So I called the hospital, the police to bring her to the hospital, and they took her to the same hospital. So that doctor, when they saw her, they decided to frame my mother up as crazy, because they told her anytime she comes back to that hospital, they're going to frame her as crazy because of what she was doing to me. I always called the police on me to lock me up in the mental ward. And when I told the hospital the truth, so because of what she was doing to me, when they took her to the hospital in 2000 and I believe in one, they framed up as crazy. So she called her daughters in Pennsylvania to come bail her out, and they took her to Pennsylvania, and then one of them took her to the military barracks and told my mother to be lying that she's a U.S. soldier and be collecting military benefits. So my mother fled back to New York, and me and my mother have been living in New York ever since. So because my mother has a crazy record in a hospital record, so that was why she didn't want to go to the hospital near her daughters, because she knows the daughters will come to the hospital and try to taunt my mother with that crazy record, tell the hospital to lock her up in the mental ward, because she knows her daughters were trying to kill her. So that's why she didn't go to hospital in Pennsylvania, because she knows if she goes to the hospital in Pennsylvania, what happens? The daughters will come to that hospital. If she disappears from the house, they will find out what hospital she's in, and they'll tell the doctor to lock her up in the mental ward, just to make her crazier. My mother said those daughters were trying to kill her so they can inherit the money, and they'll pretend like they're doing it out of love. So that those daughters also framed me up as crazy, hit me with a car, told the hospital to lock me up when I was living with them in Pennsylvania. Told the hospital to lock me up in the mental ward, and I had an immigration case in New York. So and they told the doctor in the mental hospital, Mass Hospital in 2001, that I don't have any immigration case. I'm just lying. And I called my lawyer Ralph DiPietro, and we called the hospital while I was there, and they told them I do have an immigration case. So the hospital apologized to me. They're so sorry. They didn't know that my mother's daughters, were lying when they called the police that I was crazy in Pennsylvania, and I was imagining I had an immigration case and I don't have an immigration case. And they told the hospital to lock me up. They just wanted me to miss my immigration court date so that the immigration would deport me, because my mother was telling them she's tired of taking care of me. So she told my mother to trick me and bring me to Pennsylvania. So my mother told me to come with her to Pennsylvania for just one day only. So I went with her. I thought it was one day only. And when I got there, that one of them hit me with a car, and as I was on the floor, the other one called the police on me, and the block saying I was crazy attacking them, and the police took me to the mental ward. I just came here from Nigeria in 2000 and they took me in 2001. And so those guys are killers. That's why my mother was trying to avoid them, and she came all the way. After those dogs poisoned her, that's why she got on the Greyhound bus and came all the way to New York. And they put her in the hospital down here, Bellevue, and within 2 days, those dogs showed up in the hospital. And my mother said, she was scared to the bone. That how did these dogs find out which was she didn't tell them, and they came. So I guess the law enforcement are helping those daughters, because my mother, they say they have this NYPD. They always look for people they can rob, and they saw me and my mother was suing the police, was about to sue U.S. immigration. So they wanted me, daughters, they have been giving my mother's daughters the poison to kill my mother and to also eventually kill me. And those daughters have been trying to lure me to come and stay with them, and even strangers, go and find your family, go and live with them. My mother said, don't stay with those daughters. They will poison you and kill you and take all your money. So I'm 45 years old now. I'm about to be 45. I'm 44 right now. I was born in 1981. I'm going to be 45 in July 8th. So I'm like, so that's the only way they can get those daughters to come and take custody of me. So the police have been trying to declare me crazy, so those daughters can get custody of me and poison me and kill me and take all my money. So they're killing Africans here. They're killer police. They're killing Africans. FIFA cancel this World Cup. America is not safe. And you can see the black American woman say, get out of here. They send them to attack me. I can't use the bathroom. I was using the bathroom downstairs on 42nd Street. This black American was banging the door. Say, boom, boom, boom. Say, people are only allowed to use bathroom for 15 minutes in America. I said, I've only been there for 2 minutes. He said, no, I think you've been there for 15 minutes. I said, even if I've been there for 15 minutes, I said, can you please let me finish and wipe myself? He said, in America, you can't use the bathroom for more than 15 minutes. So they're just lying, making up. Even I went to another place, they told me, their own rule, I can't use the bathroom for more than 2 minutes. So they're making up rules. They don't like immigrants use the bathroom. One foreigner, shit all over himself in front of the train station in Queens, 71st Avenue. They're making the immigrants shit all over themselves. So FIFA is so unsanitary. They don't let me use the bathroom. I have to be taking anti-diarrhea pills to avoid going to the toilet. This is why I survive. So America, they're abusing immigrants. It's not safe, especially here in New York. I don't know about other cities. Cancel the World Cup here in New York. FIFA, you can't continue doing this. The Iran said they're also in fear of America. They don't want to come here. And I'm an immigrant. I've been experiencing, this is my anti-diarrhea pill. I buy it all the time from this store called Target. So please, FIFA, cancel this World Cup or take it out of New York. And so please donate to my Cash App, NYC Homeless. And their government, lawyers, they're getting bribed. None of them would help me. They're waiting till I die, and so they can share the money. They say their police steal money, their government lawyers steal money. So please, FIFA, intervene. If you're watching my video anywhere in the world, also anybody else watching my video, please donate to my Cash App, NYC Homeless. I'm looking for a non-conditional charitable donation to my Cash App, NYC Homeless, or student loan with interest rates similar to what the U.S. government charges students, or what commercial bank charges student. Whatever interest rate is lower. I don't want to be price gouge. I solemnly swear that United States perjury laws and other relevant laws and U.S. Constitution that I'm seeking non-conditional charitable donation to my Cash App, NYC Homeless, or student loan to my Cash App, NYC Homeless, or to me in process. I do beg for money on the street. I'm not looking for surrogacy. I'm not looking for marriage. I'm not looking to adopt anybody's child. I'm not looking to be adopted. They just changed the law in New York that you can adopt an adult. I'm not looking to be adopted by anyone. I'm an adult. I'm not looking for anybody to adopt me either. And I'm not looking to adopt anybody's child. I'm not looking to adopt anybody and any adult also. I'm not looking for any surrogacy arrangement. I'm not looking for any marriage. I'm not looking for any membership in any cult or gang, whether social, sexual, or religious. I'm not looking for membership in any cult or gang. And in case I die or I'm killed, only civil activists like me that haven't denied me up with the past should administer my estate and get just for me and my late mother. No family or friends should administer my estate or get any inheritance from my estate. And those civil activists administer my estate should also use assets from my estate or potential assets from my estate and donate it to charitable financial donation to those services in Africa like me and my late mother, and those being deported by Trump should be prioritized for assistance. And also, nobody should make a movie about me unless I'm alive and well to participate in the movie, direct the movie, market it. I'm very good at my image. I don't trust anybody to be able to depict me accurately. When I was in immigration prison or during my immigration interview, I told the immigration I'm introverted. I don't really talk to people about my life unless I'm under duress like this. And even when I'm under duress, I don't reveal everything about my life. Just certain parts of my life, like me being attacked. So no family or friend really knows about me. I don't really talk about my personal life to family or friend. When I used to talk to, I don't really talk to anybody right now, except on social media. So nobody be able to accurately depict me. I don't even trust anybody to be able to accurately depict me. I'm introvert. I don't really reveal everything about my life. Only just a little bit on social media when I'm under duress. So, and I also put in my immigration file A7795468 that I'm introverted. So please, nobody should do a movie about me unless I'm alive and well to participate in the movie and market it. And also, I used to look like Michael Jackson when I was a child. I no longer look like him. I'm an adult. I don't want to be associated with Michael Jackson in any way or form. And also, it's such so much. I forgot some other things I was talking about. So please, nobody should try to. I want to state that nobody should try. I want to say that everyone and anyone and everybody should desist from trying to go against my wish. So please stop. Please desist and stop any attempt to go against my wish, to get me to surrogacy, to marry me, to befriend me. I'm not looking for surrogacy. I'm looking for marriage. This is a sworn statement under perjury, and anybody that tries to attempt to go against my wish should be arrested for violation of perjury and also violation of right of sepulchre. New York State has a law that says you got to respect somebody's wish. That they state when they're alive, even after they die, and also anybody trying to violate my wish should be arrested for attempted murder, attempted child kidnapping, attempted child trafficking, attempted sex trafficking, attempted rape. In 2020 they lock up on the bathrooms in the train station, and some of the train workers were trying to take me home. I told them no. So for 4 years they locked up the bathroom, and the guy took me home, one of the strangers. I told him I just need a place to sleep out. I was going to pay him. But because he said he wants to get married right away, I told him no. And he started beating me, raping me. And he told me it was for the police, that if I ever escape, the police will kill me on the street. So I called the police on him. The police didn't arrest him, and they took me out on the street. So I believe that if they kill me, they can then get the guy to go and lie that while I was staying with them, I told him to adopt children. I'm single or married without child. I'm homeless. Why would I tell anybody to adopt children? They said no. There's a law in America that allows the court to bend over backward for the interest of children. It's called parentage by estoppel. So if you're dead and somebody lies about you and say children to go and adopt children, the courts may, in the interest of the child, especially if you have a lot of money in your estate, formalize any such informal supposed agreement and award, your estate to that child and call that child your adopted child. I didn't adopt anybody's child. I didn't tell anybody to go and create a child for me. So these are scammers, they're killer police, they rob people. This is why I want to go to court. I was talking with a lawyer. Anytime I send a message to a lawyer, there's this lawyer, his name is Chadwick Johnson. I sent him a message, last night, and since then the police have been attacking me, sending people, black Americans, to try to fight me. So they want to kill me before that lawyer responds to. Anytime I send a message to a lawyer, their police will try to kill me before that lawyer responds, and a lot of times those lawyers will never respond. I think they also have a way of contacting those lawyers and tell them not to respond, that they're trying to kill me and they should back off. I'm a foreigner and they should let them, and some black Americans don't like Africans. So their police, they're tapping into my phone through the FBI, because I used to be in immigration prison, and their Facebook also, I sent a message to that lawyer Chadwick Johnson. I sent a message to another lawyer called Katen, what's his name again? And on Facebook. So now Facebook deleted my account. Said I've been recording they suspended my account. Said as I was recording a woman touching my buttocks, and the police jumping out of the car looking like they were about to shoot me dead, the Facebook deleted my account.